so glad that you're here now, and that's what matters. Tonight, I thought we might take a little journey together. Nothing strenuous, mind you. Nothing that requires much of you at all, really. Just a quiet walk, in a manner of speaking. Through forests you've never seen. Through snow you've never felt beneath your feet. Well, think about wolves for a while, just think about them. Watch them from a distance. Safe and warm where we are. I've always found something rather settling about wolves, you see. Something that quiets the mind. Perhaps it's the way they move, or the way they exist in the world without asking permission for it. I'm not entirely sure. But tonight, we'll explore that feeling together, you and I, very slowly. There's no hurry at all. Let me tell you about the wolves. Not everything about them, of course. We don't need to know everything. Just pieces. Small pieces that feel good to hold in your mind as you drift off. Little observations. Quiet truths. Wolves sleep, you know. Of course they do. Everything sleeps. But wolves, they sleep rather wonderfully. They'll find a spot, somewhere they feel is right, and they'll circle it first. Round and round, sometimes twice, sometimes more. Testing it, perhaps. Or maybe it's just instinct, something older than memory. And then they lower themselves down very slowly, and they curl into a shape that's been the same for thousands and thousands of years. They tuck their noses under their tails when it's cold. Did you know that? They use their tails as blankets, in a way, covering their faces, keeping the warm air close. Their breath makes a little pocket of warmth there, between nose and tail. I find that rather beautiful, somehow. The simplicity of it. A perfect solution arrived at over millennia. No thought required, just warmth. And they sleep together often. Not always, but often. Piled against one another like they're one creature made of many parts. You'll see them in the winter, in those high places where the snow falls thick and quiet. They'll press close, sharing heat, sharing breath. And if you could be there, watching from somewhere they couldn't see you, you'd notice how still they become, how deeply they trust in those moments. Trust in each other. Trust in the sleep itself. I wonder what they dream about. Probably we'll never know. But they do dream, I think. You can see it sometimes in photographs, in videos. The way their paws twitch, the way their faces move, just slightly. Chasing something, perhaps, or running, or simply remembering the feel of the earth beneath them from earlier that day. There's something about wolves that exists outside of time, isn't there? When you look at them, really look at them, it's almost as if you're looking backward. Through years, through centuries, they haven't changed much, wolves, not in the ways that matter. The same eyes looking out at the same moon, the same howl carrying across the same valleys. They howl, of course. Everyone knows that. But it's not quite what we think it is, the howling. It's not mournful, not really. Oh, it sounds that way to us, perhaps, lonely, full of longing. But to them, it's communication, it's connection. It's saying, I'm here, where are you? I'm here. And the others hear it, miles away sometimes, miles and miles, and they answer, I'm here too, I'm here too. Can you imagine that? Calling out into the darkness and knowing absolutely that you'll be answered. That somewhere out there, someone is listening for your voice. They know each other's howls, you see. Each wolf sounds different. Not wildly different, perhaps, but different enough. And when one howls, the others know who it is. They recognize the voice, and they can tell somehow how far away it is, how the sound has traveled through the trees, over the rocks, across the snow. I read once that a wolf's howl can travel 10 miles. 10 miles. In the right conditions, of course, when the air is still and cold, when the world is quiet. 10 miles of forest, 10 miles of mountain, and that sound carries through all of it. A thread connecting one beating heart to another. They don't howl at the moon, though. That's just a story we tell. A nice story, admittedly, romantic in its way. But wolves howl when they need to communicate, moon or no moon. New moon, full moon, doesn't matter much to them. Though I suppose they might howl more at night. Things are quieter then. Easier to hear, easier to be heard. Sometimes they howl just before a hunt. Not always, but sometimes. A gathering of sorts, a reminder we're together. We move as one, and they do, you know, move as one. It's quite something to see. I've watched videos, old documentaries, footage captured by people who spent months, years sometimes, earning the trust of a pack. Or not even trust, really. Just proximity. Being allowed to exist in the same space for a while. When wolves hunt, they're patient. More patient than you'd think. They don't just chase down the first thing they see. No, they watch, they observe, they wait. They're looking for something specific, though what that is exactly, well, that's between them and the animal they're watching. A weakness, perhaps, a limp, something that tells them this one. This is the one that makes sense. And even then, even after all that watching and waiting, most hunts fail. Did you know that? Most of them, far more than succeed. A wolf might hunt 10 times and come away empty 9 of those times. Think about that for a moment. All that energy, all that effort, and still nothing. But they don't seem to despair, wolves. They just continue. They rest. They try again. There's a kind of wisdom in that, I think. A kind of acceptance. Not every attempt bears fruit, but you keep trying anyway. What else is there to do? When they do succeed, when a hunt ends the way they need it to, they eat. Of course they eat, but not frantically, not desperately. Well, sometimes desperately if they've been hungry for a long while. But often there's an order to it, a structure. The pack leaders eat first, usually. Then the others. Then the young ones. Everyone gets something if there's enough. Everyone shares. And after they eat, they rest. Sometimes for days. They'll find a place, somewhere they feel safe, and they'll just be sleeping mostly, digesting, letting their bodies recover. There's no guilt in it. No sense of I should be doing something, just rest, pure rest. I think we've forgotten how to do that, haven't we? We humans. how to truly rest without that nagging feeling that we're wasting time. Wolves haven't forgotten. Or maybe they never knew it as anything other than what it is. A necessity. A gift, even. Between hunts, between those long periods of rest, wolves play. Yes, play. You wouldn't think it, perhaps, if all you knew about them came from old stories. Big bad wolf and all that. But they play. They chase each other through the snow with no purpose other than joy. They pounce on each other. They bow, front legs stretched forward, rear end up in the air, tail wagging. The same gesture dogs make, the same invitation. Play with me. And the others accept. Or they don't. Sometimes a wolf will try to initiate play and the other will just walk away. Not interested right now. And that's fine too. No hard feelings. They'll try again later, perhaps. The young ones play constantly. Wolf pups, I mean. They tumble over each other like they're made of water, not flesh and bone. Testing their strength, learning their bodies, learning each other. Who's faster, who's stronger, who gives up first, who never gives up at all. And the adults let them. They watch, sometimes join in. A grown wolf playing with a pup is, well, it's gentle in a way that might surprise you. All that strength, all that power held back, careful. A massive paw pinning down a tiny body, but not too hard. Never too hard, just enough to teach, just enough to play. Wolves live in families, you see. That's really what a pack is. A family. Not always a blood family in every case, but family nonetheless. There's usually a mated pair at the center. Two wolves who have chosen each other. And they stay together, these pairs, for years, sometimes for life. They raise their pups together, both of them. The father doesn't leave. He's there, hunting, providing, playing, teaching. And the rest of the pack, the other wolves, they help too. Aunts, uncles, older siblings. Everyone contributes. Everyone watches over the little ones. When the pups are very young, just weeks old, they stay in a den. Somewhere safe. Somewhere hidden. A hole in the ground, usually. A cave. Somewhere the mother can keep them protected while they're small and vulnerable and blind. And the pack brings her food. She can't hunt when the pups are that young. She has to stay with them. So the others hunt for her. They eat, and then they travel back, and they regurgitate food for her. I know that sounds unpleasant, but it's care, isn't it? It's love in its way. Practical love, necessary love. After a while, the pups emerge, stumbling into sunlight for the first time. Everything is new. Everything is overwhelming and wonderful and frightening all at once. And the pack gathers around them, meeting them, greeting them. Gentle sniffs, gentle touches. Welcome, welcome. You're one of us now. The pups nurse from their mother, of course, for months. But they also learn to eat meat slowly. The adults bring them food, small pieces at first, and the pups chew on them, figure them out. This is food. This is what keeps us alive. This is what you'll learn to hunt for yourself one day. But that day is far off. For now, there's only play. only sleep, only the warmth of the den and the smell of mother and the sound of the pack moving around outside, living their lives, keeping watch. Wolves are watchful creatures, always aware. Even when they're resting, part of them is listening. Listening for danger, listening for opportunity. Their ears move independently. Did you know that? One ear can point forward while the other points back, covering all directions, missing nothing. Their hearing is extraordinary. They can hear things we can't even imagine. A mouse moving under snow, a branch breaking half a mile away, the heartbeat of prey before they can even see it, and their sense of smell. Oh, their sense of smell is something else entirely. They live in a world of scent that we can barely comprehend. Every rock, every tree, every patch of ground tells them something. Who passed this way? How long ago? What they ate? How they felt? Happy, frightened, sick, healthy. It's all there in the scent. They mark their territory, wolves do. Everyone knows that. But it's not aggressive, not really. It's just information. We're here. This is our range. We need this space to survive. And other wolves, when they smell those marks, they understand. They either respect the boundary or they don't. And if they don't, well, that's when things get complicated. But most of the time, wolves avoid each other. Different packs, I mean. They have their territories, their ranges, and those ranges sometimes overlap at the edges. But they do their best not to meet. Not out of fear, necessarily, just efficiency. There's no point in conflict if it can be avoided. Conflict takes energy. Energy is precious. Better to just move around each other. Give space. It's practical, the way wolves live. Everything serves a purpose. Every action makes sense in the context of survival. But it's not cold, that practicality. It's not heartless. There's warmth in it. There's care. When a wolf is injured, the pack slows down. They don't leave them behind, not if they can help it. They bring food. They wait. They give the injured one time to heal. Not forever, of course. There are limits, but they try. They try to keep the family together. And when a wolf dies, the others notice. I don't know what they feel exactly. Grief, maybe. Something like it. They'll stay near the body for a while, sometimes, sniffing it, touching it, trying to understand, perhaps, what's happened. Why their family member won't get up, won't move, won't breathe. Eventually they leave. They have to. Life continues. The pack continues. But for a time, there's a pause, an acknowledgement. Something was here. Someone was here. And now they're not. Wolves live in the present, I think, more than we do. They remember, certainly. They learn from experience. But they don't worry about tomorrow the way we do. Tomorrow will come or it won't. Right now, there's snow to walk through. There's a scent on the wind. There's a packmate to curl up against. There's the feeling of a full belly. There's sleep coming. They live in places we've mostly forgotten about. Remote places, wild places, mountains, forests, tundra, places where the human world feels far away. Not that wolves chose these places specifically because they're remote. It's more that they've been pushed there slowly over time. As we've expanded, they've retreated, finding the spaces we don't want, the spaces we can't easily reach. And in those spaces, they thrive. They live the way they've always lived, hunting, sleeping, playing, raising their young, howling at night, though not at the moon, howling to each other. I'm here. Are you there? I'm here too. There's a rhythm to their lives, a pattern tied to the seasons, to the movement of prey, to the cycle of birth and death and birth again. Spring brings pups. Summer brings plenty. Fall brings preparation. Winter brings hardship. And then spring again, and again, and again. They don't question it, I don't think. They don't rage against it. They simply exist within it. Move through it. Do what needs to be done when it needs to be done. In winter, when the snow is deep and the prey is scarce, they rely on each other more than ever. They can't afford to be apart. They need the shared warmth, the shared effort. A single wolf alone in winter has a much harder time of it. But together they can endure. Together they can survive. They're beautiful in the snow, wolves. Their fur thick and silvery. Their breath visible in the cold air. They move through it like they were made for it. And in a way, they were. Thousands of years of evolution. Thousands of years of wolves surviving winter. The ones who couldn't, well, they didn't pass on their genes. Only the strong ones, the well-adapted ones, the ones whose fur grew thick enough, whose bodies knew how to conserve energy, how to find food even when food was hiding beneath a foot of snow. You're still here. Good, I'm glad. I hope you're comfortable. I hope you're warm. I hope wherever you are right now feels safe. Let me tell you a bit more about the wolves. Just a bit more. We'll keep going slowly, slowly. No rush at all. There's something about the way wolves look at things, at the world, at each other. Their eyes are knowing somehow. Not human, of course. Very much not human, but intelligent. Aware. When you see a photograph of a wolf looking directly at the camera, directly at you, there's a weight to it, a presence. You can feel them seeing you, really seeing you. Their eyes are usually yellow, amber, gold, sometimes a pale, almost white yellow. It makes them look like they're lit from within, like there's a fire somewhere behind those eyes. Not an angry fire, just life, burning steady and strong. Some wolves have different colored eyes, blue occasionally, or green. It's rare, but it happens. Those ones look different, a bit otherworldly, like they belong to both the wild and to some other place we can't quite name. But most have yellow eyes, and those eyes miss very little. Wolves are observant, constantly taking in information. That deer in the distance, the way it moves. Is it healthy? Is it slow? That sound in the underbrush. Is it prey? Is it danger? Is it nothing at all? That change in the wind. What does it carry? What does it mean? They process all of this without seeming to try. It's just what they do, what they've always done. The world speaks to them in a language of scent and sound and small movements, and they understand it fluently. I read somewhere that wolves can detect prey from nearly 2 miles away. 2 miles, just by scent. The wind carries information to them across all that distance, and they read it like we might read a newspaper. There's a deer that way, an elk, a rabbit, 2 miles away, and they know. But knowing and doing are different things, of course. Just because they can smell prey doesn't mean they can catch it. Distance matters. Terrain matters. The skill of the prey matters. How desperate the wolves are matters. When they track something, when they decide that yes, this is worth pursuing, they can travel vast distances, miles and miles, following a scent trail that we couldn't even begin to perceive. Patient, persistent, not frantic, just determined, one paw in front of the other. Hour after hour, if necessary. They can run fast when they need to, very fast, 30-35 miles per hour, for short bursts, even faster. But they can't maintain that speed for long. Nothing can, really. So they pace themselves. They trot more than they run. A trot they can maintain for hours, covering ground steadily, efficiently, not wasting energy. Everything about wolves is about efficiency, really. About not wasting energy, not wasting opportunity, not wasting food once they have it. Their bodies are built for this life. Long legs for covering distance. Large paws that spread their weight across snow, keeping them from sinking too deep. Powerful jaws that can crack bone. Teeth designed for gripping, tearing, slicing. A digestive system that can handle huge amounts of food at once, because who knows when the next meal will come. They can eat 20 pounds of meat in one sitting. 20 pounds. Imagine that. Your entire body dedicated to the task of consuming, storing, preparing for the famine you know is coming. Because it always comes. Feast and famine. That's the wolf's life. After a big meal, they're lethargic, too full to move much. They'll lie there in the sun if there is sun, or in the shelter of trees if there isn't, just digesting, existing. Time moves slowly for them then. Time moves slowly for us too, watching them. Everything peaceful, everything still. Stillness is important for wolves. They spend a lot of time being still, conserving energy, waiting, observing. We often think of them as constantly moving, constantly hunting. But that's not true. Much of their life is rest, is stillness, is simply being present in their body, in their space, not needing anything more than what they have in that moment. There's a lesson in that, perhaps. Or not a lesson, just an observation, something to hold gently. When wolves do move, when they travel, they often move in single file, one behind the other, the leader in front breaking trail, the others following in their footsteps. Easier that way, less effort, the snow already packed down, the path already found. They take turns sometimes, leading. The one in front gets tired faster, having to push through fresh snow. So after a while, they'll drop back, and another will take the lead. Fair, practical, everyone contributes. In summer, when there's no snow, they still often walk single file. Through forests, through tall grass. It's just how they move. A line of wolves, silent, purposeful, appearing and disappearing between trees like smoke, like shadows. If you were very lucky, very quiet, and you happened to be in the right place at the right time, you might see them, just passing through, not interested in you, not frightened of you necessarily, but not interested either, just passing through, heading somewhere else, somewhere they need to be, and you'd watch them go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wolves, maybe more, flowing through the landscape like water, like they're part of the forest itself, which, of course, they are, more part of it than we could ever be. They belong there, in the wild, in those spaces between human things. They belong in a way that's absolute, undeniable. We used to know that, I think. Used to understand that the world was full of creatures who belonged to it in ways we didn't, who had claims to the land that predated ours, who had rights, though we didn't call them rights back then. Just existence, the right to exist, to hunt, to raise young, to sleep in the sun, to howl at night. But we forgot, somewhere along the way. Or we decided those rights didn't matter as much as our own, and we pushed them out, killed them, drove them away. Wolves were nearly extinct in many places. In the United States, they were hunted almost to nothing. People thought they were dangerous, thought they were killing too much livestock, thought the world would be better without them. But they were wrong. It turns out the world needs wolves. The ecosystems need them, not just for what they are, but for what they do, how they shape the land, how they influence the behavior of other animals, how they keep things in balance. In Yellowstone, when they brought wolves back, the entire landscape changed. Rivers changed their course. Trees grew in places they hadn't grown in decades, all because the wolves came back, all because they started hunting again. And the deer and elk being hunted changed their behavior. They stopped lingering in certain areas, stopped overgrazing, and the plants came back, and the beavers came back, and the birds, and the rivers, with more vegetation on their banks, stopped eroding so quickly. They curved, they meandered, they became healthy again, all because of wolves. Isn't that something? Isn't that remarkable? The world is connected in ways we're still discovering, still understanding. Remove one thread, even a thread we think doesn't matter, and the whole tapestry shifts, changes, sometimes falls apart. But put the thread back, and things heal. Not immediately, not overnight, but slowly, bit by bit, season by season. The land remembers what it's supposed to be, and it becomes that again. Wolves are part of that memory, part of that healing. They don't know that, of course. They're just being wolves, hunting, sleeping, playing, raising their young, doing what wolves have always done. But by being that, by existing as they are, they fix things. They mend things without trying, without knowing, just by being. There's something profound in that. Something that makes me quiet when I think about it too long. Wolves don't have grand ambitions. They don't wonder about their purpose. They just are. And that being is enough, more than enough. It's essential. When a wolf wakes up in the morning, if we can call it morning in the way they'd experience it, they don't think about what they need to accomplish that day. They just open their eyes, stretch, feel the air, feel their body, notice who's around them, notice what the world is telling them. Hungry? Then maybe it's time to hunt. Or maybe someone else in the pack is already moving, already organizing. Join them, or don't. Stay and watch the pups. Guard the den. Every role matters. Not hungry? Then rest. Sleep more, play, groom yourself. Groom a packmate. Strengthen bonds. Strengthen family. It's simple, not easy perhaps. Survival is never easy, but simple, direct, honest. We complicate things, we humans. We add layers and layers of meaning and expectation and anxiety. What if this? What if that? What will people think? What should I do? What's the right choice? Wolves don't have that burden. They make choices, yes, but they're clear choices, simple ones. This prey or that prey, this direction or that direction, stay or go, rest or move. And once the choice is made, they commit. No second guessing, no regret. They chose, and now they act on that choice, and whatever happens, happens. There's freedom in that, a kind of peace. Imagine living without regret, without anxiety about the future. Just this moment, this breath, this step, this next step. Wolves do that. They live that. Right now, somewhere, a wolf is sleeping, curled in the snow or under a tree or in a den with others pressed against them, breathing slowly, dreaming perhaps, but not worried, not planning, not anxious, just sleeping. And somewhere else, a wolf is waking, blinking against the light, standing, stretching, shaking snow from their fur, testing the air with their nose, reading what the morning has brought, what possibilities exist, what dangers, what joys. And somewhere else, wolves are playing, chasing each other through a meadow, mouths open in what looks almost like laughter, joy, pure, uncomplicated joy. And somewhere else, a mother wolf is nursing her pups, lying on her side, patient, while they climb over her and push against her and feed. She's tired, maybe, hasn't slept well in weeks, but this is what's needed, so she does it. And there's peace in that too, in doing what's needed, in fulfilling that purpose. And somewhere else, a pack is howling, voices rising together into the night sky, calling to each other, affirming their bonds, their togetherness. I'm here. Are you there? I'm here too. I'm here too. All of this happening right now. As you lie here listening to my voice, all of these wolves living their lives, unaware of us, unconcerned with us, just being. Doesn't that feel good to think about? That all of this exists, whether we're paying attention or not. That the world is full of lives being lived, fully, completely, without needing our observation or approval. It makes us smaller in a way, but not in a bad way, in a comforting way. We're not the only ones here. We're not responsible for everything. The world turns without us. Wolves hunt and sleep and play and howl whether we notice or not. There's relief in that. We can let go a little. We can rest. The world doesn't need us to hold it together every moment. It's holding itself together just fine. It's been doing it for millions of years. Billions. Wolves are just one small part of that. One thread in that endless tapestry. But what a thread. What a beautiful, wild, essential thread. You're drifting, perhaps. That's all right. That's good, even. Don't fight it. There's no need to hear every word. The words will be here, whether you hear them or not. The wolves will be here. The world will be here. Let me tell you about winter again. About wolves in winter. There's something about that image that feels right for sleep. Wolves in snow, moving slowly through a white world, everything muffled, everything soft. Snow changes sound, you know, makes everything quieter, absorbs noise. When you're in a forest in winter during a snowfall, the world becomes almost silent. Just the sound of your breath, the sound of snow falling, if you're quiet enough to hear it. A whisper, a settling. Wolves move through that silence like they're part of it. Their paws make barely any sound, just a soft crunch, a quiet compression of snow. They could be anywhere, wolves, right next to you, and you might not know until they wanted you to know. But they wouldn't want you to know. They'd prefer you didn't. They'd prefer to pass unseen, undisturbed. They're not interested in us, wolves. Not in the way we're interested in them. We watch them, study them, film them, write about them, build stories around them. They just want to be left alone, to hunt, to sleep, to raise their families in peace. Is that so much to ask? In the depths of winter, when food is scarce, wolves might go days without eating. Days, a week sometimes, just traveling, searching, hopping to find something, anything. Their bodies adapt. They slow down, conserve energy, enter a kind of waiting state, not giving up, never giving up, just waiting, being patient, knowing that eventually, something will appear. Some opportunity will present itself. And when it does, they're ready. Tired, hungry, but ready. They summon what strength they have left and they hunt. They chase. They catch. Or they don't catch. But they try. Always they try. The trying is what matters. The not giving up. When they do eat, finally, after days of nothing, it must be extraordinary. That feeling, that relief, the body receiving what it desperately needs, energy flooding back, strength returning. They eat until they can't eat anymore, and then they rest, and the world, for a time, is good again. The world is enough again. until the next hunger, the next search. But for now, in this moment, they're full. They're warm. They're together. And that's all they need. Pups born in spring have never seen winter. Not yet. They're born into a world of new grass and long days and plenty of food. Their mother's milk, then meat brought by the pack. More than enough. Always more than enough. They play in sunshine. They explore in warm weather. They learn to hunt by chasing mice, beetles, anything small and slow enough for their inexperienced jaws to catch. They don't know yet that winter is coming, that the warm days will end, that food will become scarce, that survival will require everything they have. But the pack knows. The older wolves, they've survived winters before. They know what's coming, and they prepare the pups as best they can, teaching them, training them, building their strength. By the time winter arrives, the pups are larger, stronger, not full grown, not yet, but better equipped than they were. And they'll face that winter with the pack around them, protecting them, teaching them, showing them how to endure. Some won't make it. That's the truth of it. Not all pups survive their first winter. The weak ones, the sick ones, the unlucky ones. But the pack doesn't grieve them before they're gone. They give them every chance, every bit of support they can offer. And if a pup dies, well, life continues. The pack continues. There will be more pups next spring. Life finds a way to persist. That sounds cold, maybe, but it's not cold. It's just reality. The wolves' reality. They can't afford sentimentality in the way we can. They can't stop everything to mourn. They have to keep moving, keep hunting, keep surviving. But I think they feel it anyway. The loss, somewhere in them, somewhere we can't measure or prove. I think they feel it. The way they pause sometimes. The way they look at a place where a packmate used to be. The way they're just slightly quieter for a time. Maybe I'm projecting. Maybe I'm making them too much like us. But I don't think so. I think grief is older than we are. Older than humans. I think it's something that comes with love, with connection, with caring about another being. And wolves care about each other. That much is clear. So when one is gone, it matters, it's felt. And then, because life requires it, they move on. They continue. What else can they do? What else can any of us do? In the spring, when the world thaws, when the snow melts and the rivers run high, and the ground softens, wolves shed their winter coats. All that thick fur that kept them warm through the coldest months. They don't need it anymore, so it falls away. In clumps, sometimes. They'll rub against trees, against rocks, helping it along. Scratching that itch of old fur letting go. And underneath is the summer coat. Thinner, cooler, better suited to warm weather. The cycle continues. Winter coat, summer coat. Winter coat, summer coat. Year after year after year. Their whole lives are cycles like that. Patterns that repeat. Seasons, hunts, births, deaths, births again. Nothing is permanent. Everything changes. But the pattern itself continues. There's comfort in that too, I think. In the predictability of cycles. In knowing that spring always comes. That winter always ends. Even when you're in the depths of it. Even when it feels like it will never end. It will. It does. It always does. And the wolves know that. In whatever way wolves know things, they endure winter because they've endured it before. Because something in them remembers that spring exists, that warmth exists, that plenty exists. They just have to make it through. We're not so different. You and I, we have our winters too. Times when everything feels hard. When food is scarce, metaphorically speaking. When warmth seems far away. But we endure, like the wolves. We curl up. We conserve energy. We wait. We try. We help each other when we can. And eventually, spring comes for us too. Maybe not literally, but in some form, some shift, some easing. It comes. Wolves don't philosophize about this. They don't talk about hope or perseverance or resilience. They just live it. They just are it. But we can watch them and learn. Not lessons, exactly. Just observations. Ways of being that might make our own winters easier to bear. Like resting without guilt. Like moving with purpose, but without rush. Like staying close to those we love. Like howling into the darkness and trusting that someone will hear us. Like being patient. Like trying again even when we failed before. Like accepting what is while still working toward what could be. Wolves are good teachers. Silent teachers. They teach by example, by simply existing. And right now, as you're lying here, somewhere they're existing. Living their lives. Teaching without knowing they're teaching. Being without trying to be anything other than what they are. A wolf in the forest doesn't wonder if it's being a good wolf. It's just a wolf. That's enough. That's everything. Maybe you're enough too, just as you are right now, in this moment. Maybe all that striving, all that trying to be more, to do more, to become something other than what you are. Maybe that can rest for a while. Maybe tonight you can just be like the wolves. Just breathe. Just exist. Just let sleep come when it comes. The world will still be here tomorrow. The wolves will still be here. The forests, the snow, the cycles. All of it continuing whether you're watching or not. So you can close your eyes. You can let go. You can rest. It's late now, or early. Time is strange at this hour, isn't it? Doesn't quite feel like night anymore, but not yet morning. That in-between time, the time when the world is quietest. This is when wolves are often most active. Night hunters, some call them. Though they hunt during the day too, when they need to. But there's something about the night that suits them. The cover of darkness, the quiet, the way sound travels differently. They see well in the dark, wolves. Better than we do. Not perfect night vision, but good enough. They can navigate by starlight, by moonlight when there is a moon, by feel and memory when there isn't. They know their territory well. Every rock, every tree, every stream. They've walked it hundreds of times. Thousands. They could find their way home blind, I think, just by the feel of the ground beneath their paws. The scent of home getting stronger with each step. Home, I wonder if wolves think of it that way. As home, or if it's just the place they are, the place the pack is, the familiar territory. But I think it's home. I think they feel that pull, that knowing. This is where I belong. This is where my family is. This is where I return to. When they've been traveling for days, hunting, ranging far from the den. There must be something that feels like relief when they turn back. When they head home, the journey back is different from the journey out. Outward, they're searching, alert, tense. Inward, they're returning, relaxing, almost there, almost home. And when they arrive, the pack greets them, sniffs them, welcomes them back. You're here. Good. We're all here now. Safety in numbers. Safety in family. Safety in this place we've claimed, this territory we defend, this home we've made. Dens are important, especially when there are pups. The pack might have several dens in their territory, places they've used before, or places they've found and tested and decided are suitable, usually near water, usually hidden under a rock overhang, in a hollow log, a cave, somewhere that offers protection from weather, from predators, from anything that might threaten the vulnerable pups. The mother chooses the den. She's the one who'll spend the most time there, at least in those early weeks. So she chooses. The others respect her choice, trust her judgment. And once the pups are born, the den becomes the center of the pack's world. Everything revolves around it. Hunts start from there and return to there. Pack members take turns staying close, guarding, making sure nothing threatens the pups, the future, because that's what pups are. The future, the continuation of the pack, the bloodline, the family. Every pack needs pups. Not every year necessarily. Sometimes a year is too hard, too lean, and there are no pups. Or pups are born but don't survive. It happens. But when it works, when the pups are born and they thrive, when they grow strong and playful and curious, that's when the pack feels complete. That's when the cycle continues as it should. The older wolves were pups once. They played in dens just like this one. They nursed from their mothers just like these pups are nursing. They learned to hunt, to howl, to be part of the pack. And now they're teaching the next generation, passing on what they know, what they learned from the generation before them. It's ancient, this chain of knowledge, this passing down of how to be a wolf, how to survive, how to live. No words needed, just observation, imitation, practice, failure, try again. The pups watch the adults. They see how to stalk, how to pounce, how to hold prey, how to work together. They don't get it right at first. They're clumsy, too eager, too loud. They alert the prey before they're even close. But they learn, slowly, patiently. The adults don't scold them, don't punish them for failure. Just let them try again, and again, and again, until one day, a pup makes their first successful catch. Something small, a rabbit maybe, or a ground squirrel. But it's theirs. They caught it, they killed it. They're a hunter now. The pack doesn't make a big deal of it, doesn't celebrate in ways we might recognize. But there's an acknowledgement, a shift. This pup is growing up, becoming capable, becoming a contributing member of the pack. By their first winter, the pups are almost adult-sized. Not quite, but close. Still awkward in their bodies, still figuring out their strength, but capable now, able to help with hunts, able to travel long distances, able to survive. Some will stay with the pack, become permanent members, help raise the next generation of pups. Others will leave. When they're 2 or 3 years old, they'll feel that pull, the need to find their own territory, their own mate, start their own pack. It's risky leaving, very risky. A lone wolf has to cross through other packs' territories, has to find unclaimed land, which is increasingly rare, has to survive alone until they find a mate, if they find a mate. Many don't make it. They're killed by other packs. They starve. They make a mistake and pay for it with their life. But some succeed. Some find a piece of land no one else has claimed. Some find another lone wolf, and together they establish a territory. Together they become a pair, a family, the start of a new pack. And the cycle continues, always continues, even now, even with all the challenges wolves face, all the habitat loss, the hunting, the cars, the human encroachment. Even with all of that, they persist, they adapt, they survive. Not easily, not without loss, but they survive. There are more wolves now than there were 50 years ago. Not as many as there were 200 years ago. Not nearly, but more than 50 years ago. In some places, they're coming back. Slowly, carefully, reclaiming territory they were driven from. And where they return, the land heals. The ecosystems rebalance. The rivers remember their courses. The trees grow tall again. It's a slow healing. It will take generations, but it's happening. The wolves are doing their part, just by being wolves, just by living. And we're slowly learning to let them, to make room for them, to remember that the world is theirs too, was theirs first in many places. It's not perfect. There are still conflicts, still people who fear them, who hate them, who want them gone. But more people now understand. More people see the value, see the beauty, see the necessity. Maybe we're learning, finally, after all these years, after all the mistakes, maybe we're learning how to live alongside them, how to share this world. Wouldn't that be something? A world where wolves can howl freely again, where they can raise their pups without fear, where they can move through their territories unimpeded, where they can just be wolves. That's all they want, all they've ever wanted, to be wolves, to live as wolves, to fulfill their purpose in the web of life. They're not asking for much, just space, just the chance to exist. And in return, they give us so much. The balance they bring, the beauty, the wildness, the reminder that we're not alone here, that we share this planet with countless other beings, each as deserving of life as we are, each with their own purpose, their own role, their own value. Wolves remind us of that. Every time we see them, every time we hear them howl, every time we find their tracks in the snow, they remind us. And tonight, as you drift toward sleep, maybe that's what you'll remember. That reminder that the world is bigger than us, wilder than us, more mysterious and beautiful and complex than we can fully comprehend. And that's okay. We don't need to comprehend it all. We just need to respect it, protect it, make room for it. Make room for the wolves, for the forests, for the wild, for all of it. And in making room for them, maybe we make room for ourselves too, for our own wildness, our own need for rest, for play, for connection, for being instead of always doing. Wolves can teach us that if we're willing to watch, willing to listen, willing to learn. They're still out there teaching, still living their lessons, still howling in the night. I'm here, are you there? I'm here too. We're all here, all of us, wolves and humans and everything in between, sharing this moment, this planet, this vast, beautiful, wild existence. And for now, in this quiet hour, that's enough. More than enough. It's everything. So rest now, like the wolves rest, deeply, completely, without reservation. Let sleep come. Let dreams come. Let tomorrow worry about itself. Tonight, there's only this breath, this moment, this peace. The wolves are sleeping, somewhere in the snow, curled together, warm. And you can sleep too. Safe, warm home. Good night. Sleep well. The wolves will still be there in the morning, still living, still being, still teaching their quiet lessons to anyone willing to learn. And the world will turn, and spring will come, and the cycle will continue, as it always has, as it always will. Rest now. Rest